playoffs, but every series counting, not even a meme here. It is just a reality. Let's go to the final game. Lyric, 3 targeted bans. Aki, no Poppy. No Samira for Abel. No Shyvana for Shanji. While first pick Sylas for TT is what they wanted to bring out.
Yeah, with the Azir ban going towards this, also a huge takeaway from Creme. Despite the fact it didn't work in game 1 for OMG, they still have a lot of respect for this player on what he's done with this pick. Ucal's also 2-0 on it this split, so does work quite well for them. OMG going to take the expected pick of the Aphelios.
Yep.
And we keep seeing the Bel'Veth hovered, but not going to come out. We are actually going to get Creme's Akali.
Thank you so much. I mean, in the FPX series, we saw Creme's Akali again, and Creme de la Creme hit the riff. So good things hoping here for the mid lane, but we're going through pick ban pretty fast, Lyric. I mean, TT are just getting in those expecteds. Hoya back on the Gnar, was banned in game number 2. We already talked about the Sylas, but even the Jinx here for Kepler as he debuts in the series, and Shanji just returns to the GP.
Shanji constantly going back to this pick rather than going towards maybe something like the Sejuani, which has been one of our more recent go-to answers with the engage that it brings. But hey, Cannon Barrage, especially against an immobile AD carry, right? You can do a lot in these team fights. Right. And now both teams, we're probably going to get back to just thinning the support pool and then seeing what these players are comfortable with. And could be like game 1 where we could see a Wukong Viego swap, which should seem pretty evident, but game 1 made it to 4-5. This game, TT actually going to take it away.
I just also like that for OMG, the takeaway is also this Nautilus, right? I feel like Yao Yao has had that ban against him 2 out of the 3 games so far, and being a pivotal engage tool, we know that Yao Yao is someone who needs to be targeted like that. So alongside the Xin Zhao, it looks like OMG trying to take away tools further here, Lyric, from TT's comp.
I mean, especially with the Sylas, right? Setting up the all-in, wanting to come through. So I kind of like they're taking away some of these tools and even just harder things to be able to burst down, like the Xin Zhao once you pop down that ultimate, when Creme especially, right, going to be heavily indexing into that burst. Now, things like the Viego still on the board. We know Lee Sin's still up as well. For OMG, you could just opt into taking jungle here and then save support for counter pick.
Oh, that's a good point. Take jungle here. What's available? Lee Sin. Bel'Veth. I don't want to see Aki on Bel'Veth ever again, Lyric. I'm glad it's the Lee Sin this time around when you have an Akali mid.
Yeah, so they're going to go towards, again, one of those 2 options we just highlighted, having a lot of strength, a lot of mobility to be able to find access onto Kepler. And now for TT, when, I mean, the game might just be about Kepler being that big damage carry, they are going to give him some safety, but also doubling down on the engage that you're able to go with the Rakan. The Viego, 90% going to be locked in as it is, and now it's up to OMG with what they can respond with. Ooh. Yeah, this would be pretty fun in its own right? Just, again, being able to bully out in the 2v2 and then set him up, but you would be a little bit lacking in terms of a front line able to come through. You'd be playing a lot off of Creme's flanks or even Aki being able to find these kicks, to where if TT can find the engage, like, it could be really hard for Abel. At least he will have the wild growth available to keep him alive.
I mean, Jerry's been showing us that this Lulu is a priority pick for him. You know, this guy coming up from the LDL and straight away, this is his 4th Lulu game of the year so far. Sorry, of the split, because he hasn't played the year. And as Jerry comes through and finalizes the draft here, Lyric, you already just gave us a little hint. Setting up for the kick, the pick, the angles here from OMG. Engage is good. Team fighting here from TT. Even though we know that, you know, team fighting has lots of different elements in League of Legends, and both of them look pretty set up in this final game to give us those specifics that you just laid out.
Yeah, right. It's going to be all about formations because both teams are going to be looking for it, but it feels like to me that OMG's comp is a lot more reliant on flanks, a lot more on like off angles or picks to set them up, with the fact that they just really don't have a front line available to be able to soak up damage if we are in an extended standoff over Dragon or over Baron, or even just in the mid lane trying to force prio, to where for TT they have that. And TT, their comp kind of has like a lot of different avenues, right? Because you also have side lanes coming through with the soul laners that you have in like Sylas and Gnar. You have front lines of your own. You have Engage coming out from the Rakan, but you also have late game carries like Jinx. So it feels to me like TT are more flexible in terms of like how things can play out, to where OMG need to be more on point with how they're taking these fights and being able to make sure that this Akali gets into the back line, the cannon barrage is sorted over it, and Abel going to be a little bit left on his lonesome in terms of positioning. Like, sure, you're going to have the speed up in the shields and wild growth coming out from Jerry, but you're still going to be the one piloting your champion, making sure you aren't going too far forward and walking into Ucal.
Well, sometimes that's been an issue, but for Abel this split, maybe we have a bit more faith as we re-enter Summoner's Rift for the final time in this first series. Are TT able to do it? It's going to be a big moment if they pull off this series and then continue their road towards playoffs. OMG wanting the same thing, but they're in a much better position being 5-5. A win here puts them over the 500 mark and sets themselves up for playoffs sooner rather than later. Right now, TT setting up on top of Shanji and Ucal. That's a Sylas. Are you ready to flash Shanji, or is Aki going to be enough? Exhaust is laid down as he flashes away immediately, but Hoya now gets range with the hop and the attack speed through it as well. Beichuan coming over, but Creme trying to zone him out. They're chasing after Shanji, but the flashes, or they'll get in the end as Ucal. That was close, so I could sense it. As Creme will get away without having to burn a flash. And even Kepler's here, Lyric. TT once again has that 5-man unit are on point.
This will still be like a small lead for TT, right? Because you think about a Creme already being chunked out. This should be able to give Ucal nice control over the mid lane. Hoya will be in lane first, so we'll have control over the wave. We'll be able to get control over the brushes as well to be able to try to chunk Shanji out. And we saw in game one, right? If GP can get on top of you level one, like Trial by Fire and then Parlay are very good tools to win that trade. Sure. But if Hoya can manage the distance well, then you're only worrying about the Parlay, which does outrange Gnar this early in the game and is on a very low cooldown, but still will have a much better time than Hoya did in game one in terms of laning phase.
And let's just quickly talk about jungle path and how it affects some of these lanes we're also mentioning, because Beichuan is around this top side. He's going to be starting with the vertical jungle here. And Lyric, when you said that OMG solo laners are pretty crucial to how this comp wants to play its fights, already setting them behind in a scarce position, that's something TT can do.
And I think TT, is Ucal
close
not going to be able to do anything off of it, but still, right, you're hitting it. The soul laners able to get themselves in a good position and keep up this prio.
Jerry might be dead. The Ignite's down. He flashes over the traps, and Kepler does a nice little bit of damage to finish off. TT's bottom lane in the 2v2, Lyric, coming in over Abel and Jerry.
And that's really rough when you're playing an Enchanter support into, you don't engage support, right? Because now not having the flash, you have to be a little bit safer. It is a little bit rougher when you're looking for the harass and trying to get them under turret and find these advantages. And now Beichuan set up for potentially easy gank setups down in the bottom lane coming out from Yao Yao.
Yeah, he's already moved down there with a red buff. It looks like the switch map state is... For now, Beichuan has a full bottom side camp clear, top side as well as also there. So he might be looking at a bit of triple buff here, Lyric, as Aki has just gone back to his own jungle to clear his own camps. So 3 buffs here for Beichuan. Feels like a significant start worth mentioning.
And I even like it. Beichuan heading back up to the top side to guarantee the scuttle. Aki reads it well, like assuming that this play can come out because Beichuan knows Aki pathed up towards top side. Yeah. So he would be looking for that one, but Aki's like, no, you have prio top. I know you're going to know what I'm thinking to know you. So he resets and he's heading towards that bot side scuttle. So we'll at least be able to get something, but look at Beichuan. He even still has his whole top side up, his Krugs up. Yep. Like, he's founding himself a very nice advantage. So
it'll be interesting to watch Aki here and how he responds. It looks like pathing towards bottom side or looming in the shadows of mid for the time being. There's a Scuttle Crab there. He's going to go into the bottom side camps. No, he's not. He's going to Scuttle. Okay. So at least we're not getting double Scuttle as well. Remember when that used to be a big deal, Lyric? Remember when getting double Scuttle was like, oh my god, jungles just win the game now. Like, that's insane.
Yep. Then, the nerfs did come through. And, not as prevalent, which feels like a better timeline to live in is Yao Yao. Sure. Just, emote's going to go back and forth.
Ucal's still going all in. He has no mana, though. And so for Yao Yao to be here means Sonic Wave is going to do a bit of impact and he can continue running forward to help out mid lane as a Gleaming Quill just on the exit path out. And now for that, Yao Yao's still spotted out in the mid. Aki keeps going down and Beichuan is back to invading.
Both junglers are invading, though, because you look at the minimap, Aki's trying to take away Krugs, even gets a nice control ward down in bot side. So kind of back to the map being a little bit split in terms of where teams have control. Yeah. Like, OMG, look at all the vision they have down towards the spot lane. They are setting up for Abel and Jerry to have a comfortable game and to try to allow Abel to pop off and be a carry once again. And Kepler in a bit of a dangerous position. Yao Yao's now here.
His first game of the series, and this is how he's going to be treated. But the problem is, Lyric, the minion wave already cleared. Yao Yao, as you said, comes into pathing, and OMG's bottom lane, nothing comes of it here, as Abel just gets a nice little root in the end. But Kepler's going to be just fine. So Aki now spotted out, gets out with a safeguard, but Beichuan just goes back to clearing his own jungle because there's no response here. TT, look at the jungle difference that's come through.
Just building a huge lead in his own right. OMG trying to answer the team by picking up the dragon. But TT, I think, still feeling pretty comfortable with where they're at. But hey, an early dragon to start, get this stacking going through, especially if you can try and force them, you know, to some early fights. You know, if we're getting things like solo fights around, you know, 25-minute mark, that could be really advantageous for OMG. And when Creme, especially on the Akali, should be hitting a pretty strong spike.
Beichuan thinking about invading, though. Aki is still a level behind. That Gromp going to heal him up nicely as they've cleared the vision. Abel and Jerry, Lyric, the wave is a pretty lull state right now as it starts pushing against Abel and Jerry. I'm wondering if he commits for this.
He wants to abuse the fact that they got Jerry's Summoner early on, and they haven't been able to do anything with it, right? Because that's when OMG started setting up their beautiful vision line in bot side river, even still having that in the enemy bot lane jungle. But they have a feeling Beichuan being in the area with the way that TT's bot lane is playing, they're playing safely. They're not gonna give any opportunities over, and Jerry's flash should be up in just a few seconds. But TT Hoya,
he's just gonna go in and find Aki. The problem is Shanji now has ulti too, so never gonna be a 1v1.
And you look at mid as well. Like Creme's pushing. Ucal's not even in lane, so Hoya does have range. You don't have to worry about Aki being level 6 or anything like that, right? As long as he has eyes on where Creme is, he knows he's fine, and he makes sure that Aki isn't able to go and get that topside scuttle crab, just keeping Beichuan's advantage going. And now, right, Creme's the one who resets. Your mid laner's back. Looks like he's stolen the Akali ultimate, so now Beichuan wanting to go for those heavy invades and that aggression once again.
Aki going to spot him out, but as this red starts going down, I mean, Hoya is level 6, about to be a Mega Gnar too, so Aki wanting the Sonic Wave, finds it onto red. Steal, not going to come through. I remember that Smite has been upgraded for Aki, but doesn't have it available. Beichuan using his last stack, and now it's going to be upgraded. Now it's going to be his red buff, and the gold lead continues throughout jungle, but Lyric just drawing attention back as Creme returns. I think on the other end, let's just note that Creme is ahead by about 20 CS in his own right.
And Creme was the one who got chunked out at level 1. Has been completely fine in this lane. Hasn't even opted into what we've seen a lot of Akalis do if he just goes straight towards the Oblivion Orb. Actually went for Source Shoes first, which just doubled down on your all-in potential and your ability to assassinate people with that magic pen coming through. So with Creme now at a point where, right, he can start traversing the map and maybe looking to double down on your bottom lane, or even go up towards Gnar, right, if he is in mini. Like, I feel like as Creme, you have a lot of options now, and that magic pen is just giving you even more ability to find the burst.
But we come back and look, Herald is going to be started here by Hoya alone. Beichuan joining in. Creme's burst, you know, we'll pay attention if they actually come up towards his top side, because for OMG, right now, not interested. Instead, Aki wants to get himself down the bottom lane, where they set up that vision before Lyric, and that control ward next to Aki right now has paid off dividends in tracking a bit of Beichuan's bottom side pathing. But Herald is going to be given over for this, so I hope that for OMG's sake, they actually finally find something with their bottom continued play.
Yeah, so far it really isn't anything as Creme getting heavily punished.
Heartbreaker going to be used. Flash from Beichuan. Creme. All right, that ain't the Akali we know. Is onto Aki. Beichuan going to be a little bit cheeky. He's got the Herald, and he knows with that mid laner down, they can abuse this.
Creme thinking he has enough mobility, especially with the flash still up, to be able to escape, but Ucal with a beautiful Abscond Abduct, and they chain the CC perfectly. And Ucal, he keeps going!
Oh, he steals the flash kick! Ucal trying to show his least in mechanics as now it's about Aki's kick, because he can turn the play onto Tara, but for TT, they don't continue.
See, that one, not as coordinated, also much harder, right? Because Ucal gets the kick, and then Beichuan isn't able to connect his W for the stun. But still, as we see what happened in bot lane, OMG going for the all-in. No flashes blown, but, you know, the other aggressive summoners were used, and OMG using both of their ultimates. They did have an ult advantage. Yao even still not level 6 yet.
Oh, yeah, he's actually still level 5. Let's look at the replay, though, because Creme here, as you said, thought he was safe in the face of the jungler.
He just, he believes he has enough mobility to be able to escape, but we see that E does come in. And then, yeah, the flash from Creme, not on point. Beichuan able to follow through with his own flash to connect with the Q, and then the W to be able to finish off the kill. So, nice job by TT. Great job by Ucal setting that one up. And, again, just a little bit, I don't know if over-aggressive is the term for Creme, right? Because, again, like, he knew he was in harm's way. Yeah. He just thought he had the tools to be able to get out of it.
Greedy, we can use the word. I feel like as well we can just use, Creme's name, because his name this split has been as someone who's been underperforming. Everyone out there saw the debut of Creme, and on this Akali, Sylas even, this guy took over. But we've had very rare games where Creme has stepped up to the plate, as even now with his lane lead, giving away that kill. You can see that Ucal doing okay now with the gold given over from the Rift Herald play, and OMG almost walking into disaster, wanting to contest his second dragon, and Creme's here, but he's had the ulti stolen away once again with the shuriken flip out, going very aggressive. Well, our camera goes top, camera goes bot, it's rocket time, baby! Kepler for the win! Okay, Shanji's gonna survive, but Hoya with flash, let's see if it goes any further.
Well, I mean, TT, they try to find the advantage. They try to find the kill, but Shanji not low enough. I'm sorry Shanji even got hit by it by the fact that it passed right over Creme, and, he knows it's coming. But, yeah, for TT, having some pretty solid advantages in terms of plates and top side. They use the Herald to collect mid, and now trying to force this dragon coming through. No cannon barrage available from Shanji, and no TPs on either top laners.
But as you said for OMG, even though it's this early on, Lyric, they want to play the angles in the fight. Creme has the ulti, and he's got one of those set up towards the blue buff. As he comes around the corner, Ucal with the stolen version might just be impactful as the ult comes through onto Beichuan. Creme begins, but down to the backside. Dragon's taken, but is it going to cost too much? Ucal not getting the abscond duck while OMG have to flee for their lives while the Sylas picks up the kill, and TT continue to hit on that board as Aki just wants his gromp. He just wants respect. The Dragon's Rage gives it to him, but Beichuan's still hungry. He'll get out this time around as, once again, OMG with their second Dragon might be worth the trade here, Lyric.
Might be worth, but still, it's got to be scared of TT just expanding on this gold lead. Heck, that could have even potentially been a kill on Aki if the knockup from Yao Yao would have connected. We'll get into this fight. Like you said, Creme trying to find a way in. Moonlight Vigil comes straight onto Beichuan, but look how far forward Abel walks up. Sets himself to just be isolated by the members of TT. And like Akali, okay, I get it, you're trying to burst on Beichuan, so like the jungler's not there, the smite's not there, but his initial burst not really doing anything, and Beichuan just walks right past him once he goes in Shroud. So, yeah, OMG not really setting themselves up for success with how they were looking to take that fight. But like you said, at the end of the day, they were able to pick up the Dragon, sitting on 2 now at about 13 minutes. So, at least we'll put a lot of pressure onto TT if they are up against an only soul point. And even though TT have had a lot of momentum in terms of how they've been playing the map so far, gold isn't all that different.
Yeah, it's only about, what, 1,500 at the moment, so all things considered, not going to be a deal breaker. But I was going to ask you a little bit about, hang on, Ucal actually finding the abscond of Duck. And right now is bullying down Creme. I mean, look at the turret plating thanks to Herald. Meanwhile,
the items as well. Like, you have Crown of the Shattered Queen, as well as another Null Magic Mantle up over Creme, which is why we're seeing him not do much damage.
Action
and TT
everywhere.
Keeping the aggression going.
Ucal's coming down, the quickness begins. Abel's going to flash to start off. He's got the cleanse, which is almost pixel perfect here under the turret. Yao Yao slowed down, almost dies with Aphelios turret, but Kepler gets the snipe yet again, this time at closer range. Beichuan now with a kill himself, and TT's extended turret dive, Lyric. That's a plus.
TT just keep working as this 4-man unit. We seriously just can't praise it enough because of how nice it is to watch TT in terms of how they're playing as a team in a lot of their recent series. OMG try to respond by putting pressure onto mid, but sadly not enough pushing power between Akali and Lee Sin to really be able to take this down. And with this, they haven't even really been able to pivot this into any even like shallow vision coming out. Probably not any control wards in their inventories anyway, no camps topside, so very hard for OMG to be able to find a response play. And with TT getting resets first, they're even going to get prio for the second Herald.
Remember, we said gold's not that big a deal. It's now 4,000 gold, by the way. As we look again, I mean, Abel and Jerry spotted on the blue buff, and they knew that there are a couple of members of TT there. And he walks down.
And you even look at the bottom of our screen, there's no TPs that can come save you. There is a cannon barrage, but 4 members here, they get it done. Especially here as we see, once Ucal joins the fight, Kepler throws out the rocket. He confirms that one to come through. Ucal had wild growth, so he felt very comfortable tanking a lot of these turret shots. And TT just executing the dive well, and OMG's Bottom kind of giving up their lives.
Yeah, and now another Herald too. I mean, the double dragon's great, but that gold lead, as you said, you know, OMG are comfortable as long as it doesn't balloon out of control. Well, I think we're getting to that point in a very quick fashion. Gold at the moment, 3,000 in the lead. This other turret is going to drop down. Only 1 outer now available through mid. And for TT, they've also got that second Herald lyric, and they can continue this balloon so much further forward. I feel like third dragon might be hard for OMG to look at.
It is going to be pretty rough with TT having this lead, especially with the fact that they can just force pressure anywhere with that Herald that they do have. I don't even think you need to use it on the mid lane outer turret, because now having pressure in sides, it should be very easy for them to push out side lanes, overload mid, and just finish that off with the numbers advantage that they can generate. And then you could save that for next dragon, or you know, even drop it for a tier 2. So TT definitely going to be the ones in the driver's seat in terms of options, especially now that we're hitting mythics coming out on their side. But hey, OMG, lots of mythics on the board as well.
Yeah, lots of mythics. I will say, just while we're on the point of TT, Kepler's almost towards his second item. You know, that's what I'm scared about here. The Jinx is pretty much on a train right now. Kepler's hit some great ults this game, and this is the replacement AD carry coming through. We had Puff in before, the person we thought would probably be starting at the year's beginning in spring. And Kepler and Yaoya once again showing really good synergy here as he set up his success on the Jinx, and 10 seconds before the Dragon as he pushes up the wave. Beichuan so aggressive as well with his 100% kill participation. Aphelios, who's feeling pretty strong too.
And I think we need to pay attention, especially to Ucal, considering now he has the stopwatch. So
yeah,
he should feel pretty good about, you know, being the aggressor in this fight. It looks like he's waiting over the wall now just in case anyone walks into the river, and they don't. OMG realized it would be rough to take this fight. They're playing a bit respectful.
Well, OMG were waiting in brush. I mean, Ucal's still with the ult. You said the aggressor, and that Akali ult's going to help out that a lot, but trying to set themselves up for mid here, Lyric. We are A-ramming for a little bit. I'm still scared, though, for OMG's sake, and it looks like now they are too.
Yeah, they're going to back off. So at the end of the day, TT are the ultimate victors in the standoff for Dragon. And now we're going to try and get up to top side.
Is Shanji okay? Well, I actually don't think Ucal wanted to go in on that. Still trying to be the aggressors. And Lyric, I mean, TT, they might be the winners, but I think they want a little bit more.
Especially with the fact that Ucal still has that ultimate available. So I like that they're trying to use these windows to force some aggression onto the side of OMG. They also should know that Abel's Flash probably still not up yet, so any fight that happened would just be advantageous for them, considering he already has such a low amount of peel on their side, to where, you look at TT, all summoners up across the board. Kepler, though, did just back and pick up that second item that you were afraid of. Rapid Fire now in pocket. Chempunk Chainsword also coming up for Beichuan.
Hang on, Hoya might be taking a 1v1 he didn't bargain for with Shanji. Aki waiting in the wings, about to go Mega. So you expect this Gnar to feel extra confident as even Jerry's walking down if it gets brutal, but he pays the respect. Len's going to come out. Here's Aki, and as they spot him out, I mean, Hoya just lets him disappear. So nothing happens in the bottom side. Nothing happens in the top side. Just waiting for those items to pop back up, Lyric, because I feel like we have a lot to talk about, because I was going to ask you before if OMG Dragon Stack, if we get these 5v5s, to kind of reiterate your point, but there's no time. Aki has just been baited in. He flashed for this, and with the kick going out, Kepler's hands were right there with him.
Great pick coming out from TT. Now they can just keep forcing their advantage forward. Herald about the timeout, so TT, nice job dropping that one now. Trying to get themselves an inner turret bot lane as Beichuan making us think, but not exactly good committing for it. I like it.
That's all right. He's got to be cheeky as well. This whole game kind of feels like it's been cheeky. Herald gets a charge, but no turret. But look at TT's movement. Lyric, they're drawing OMG across the map, cross thin. And this inner turret in mid has just been threatened.
Yeah, they're doing just like game one, right? Playing the map. Great levels.
Creme
going to try and find the engage.
Well, Kepler's under a bit of distress here. Creme wants to take the ult here. 4-man knock up too, and he's down. Kepler dead while Creme turns on to Beichuan, but is it going to be too much to ask for as the TP comes through? That's Shanji to join the fight as Ucal also caught in rotation. Creme setting up nicely here on Akali. That's more of what you'd expect.
Creme, being the one-man army, did have help from the Wild Growth, as well as things like the Cannon Barrage and the Moonlight Vigil to follow forward. But he was able to get into the thick of things and start taking these members down. And those are the kind of picks that you want coming through for OMG to be able to find their way back in. We were just highlighting, right? TT kind of pulling them across the map, but here, the members of TT splitting up. This is what gives the window for Creme to be able to go in and isolate members of TT down, right? Follows through with the second follow-through of the ultimate. Cannon Barrage doing a great job to layer the damage on top of them. We even saw Moonlight Vigil tossed in there. Gravitum popped by Abel, keeping the last member in place for the kill.
As you said, the Wild Growth just so clutch from Jerry. The 3-man knockup. You barely see it, you know, multi-man combos coming through from the Wild Growth that are so impactful, but there it is. And as you said, for OMG, shortening the goal gap a little bit. It's still 4,000, but, you know, we do have Creme, who's heading towards second item. Abel's getting there too. However, TT are still the ones in control of this game, and they've come for a bit of a revisit, Lyric, to get this inner turret finally that they stayed a while for last time.
For TT, they just need to be careful about when they split up, right? Because that's when those openings come for OMG to look for Creme to go in and just pop someone off. In that last fight, we saw, you know, 2 members going one way, 2 members going the other, which allowed for the engage from Creme to come through. But as a 5-man unit, they should be a lot more solid, especially when Hoya... It doesn't even have to be at Mega Gnar, right? But as long as like you have the threat of being able to get it whenever you throw a few auto attacks out, then that's where OMG are always going to be hesitant of looking for these engages.
And if OMG also get caught out, I mean, the Cannon Barrage is now stolen too from Ucal. So you talk about layering, and that's going to be amazing to watch TT if OMG, again, walked at the wrong place at the wrong time. Remember, we talked about how TT played this fight, and Lyric stated, you know, a little bit more simple what you'd expect out of a team fight. OMG angles Lyric, Shanji, Creme. They're going to get set up here in front of the Dragon with 10 seconds to go. This will be third Dragon if OMG can sneak it under their wing.
Yeah, in my mind, we're keeping our eyes on Aki, we're keeping our eyes on Creme. If Aki can find a kick, or if Creme could just find his way onto a priority target, Cannon Barrage later on top, Wild Growth, kind of the same formula that we saw in the last fight. That's what OMG would need to be able to do. For TT, Hoya needs to start getting that Mega Bar stacked up
Creme,
so they have a strong front line.
Look at Creme, though, over the wall. Kepler's going to be exposed. The lens catches him out. Cannon Barrage used. Creme now spotted out as Dragon actually goes to Beichuan as Hoya goes into Mega. They turn on Creme! The member that matters most is Abel. Flashes over to meet him, but now Beichuan becomes Akali as Kepler is just doing so much damage. Beichuan cleaning up the rest of the fight, and that was so damn clutch. From the members of TT, this unity, this macro is unseen in this organization.
TT stepping up this split, finally finding, you know, an amalgamation of players that works together. Hoya looked like he was just going to get completely taken out of the fight, but then sees the angle to go onto Creme. And now for TT, not only also securing that Dragon, going straight towards the Baron pit, Aki is still up. And, I mean, for Aki, you'd assume he's going to have to be looking for that steal, but members of TT zoning on the opposite side of the pit.
Ucal going to find him first, and Aki's going to walk into certain death at this point. Dragon's Rage helped by the Death Rocket of Shanji. Now he's up next. He won't be able to orange out of this one as Aki deals with Ucal again. Creme comes back in. OMG members surviving as Kepler and Beichuan only ones on the Baron. It's getting a bit dicey, but Smite comes through, and Aki has been delayed enough. Ucal will sacrifice his life while Baron goes over to Thunder Talk.
It was a little bit dicey in terms of how the execution panned out, but still, TT able to get the Baron. But we'll go back to the Dragon fight. We see TT angling to get the fight. Nice smite able to come out from Beichuan. And here I thought Hoya was just going to get popped before he's even able to go into his ulti. Flashes to guarantee the CC and the slam to come through. You can see now Kepler is excited. We can start having the resets come through for Beichuan. And Akali's another phenomenal one to pick up because of the amount of mobility you have going forward. You wrap around, you pop off Abel, but all of it starting out, Hoya kind of wrapping around from the opposite side, and Creme not expecting it to come through.
No, he's not. I mean, it was a great angle, right? Like, Kepler looked like he was going to get punished there, but at the end of the day, for OMG, you know, getting caught with their pants down, I mean, I'm not sure if I really blame them here, Lyric. I think TT, their decision-making, even in the loss, right? Their decision-making has been so much better, hence why we're complimenting this team, not just because they're winning. You know, I feel like I'm the biggest TT realist there has been over the past couple of years.
You know, I wonder if just like before that Kelsey is still the biggest like the leader of the TT army out there. It's always nice when we have like personalities gravitate towards these smaller teams, whatever the reasons may be. You know, it is kind of disappointing that V5 actually became a great team because like 2019 V5 was my love, but
yeah. But I mean, it wasn't disappointing they became a great team. We waited so long for that organization, and maybe now the TT fans will be rewarded as well. It's a long climb up to playoffs, but let's be real, 4 and 5, they can still do it. They've got tough schedule ahead of them, as we talked about at the start of the show, but I think for TT, this would be a milestone of a split if we've ever seen one. But they're going to win this game first, Lyric. They're going to seal the deal because even a 6K gold lead, we've kind of seen how OMG can navigate the fights if they're given the space. And we know that TT used a lot of tools to lock down Creme the last time. A minute 30 until Dragon, and we still got to look at how they play the angles, even though TT are the ones who have map control for now.
I feel like crucial things is the fact that Kepler now has IE, so on that big power spike, and Ucal has been able to sit on his stopwatch. So still having that possibility available, but like you said, for TT, even though they might have some superior tools, the one person they have to worry about is Creme coming through. So as long as members like Hoya, Yao, you know, these guys are stepping forward, they're not opening up an angle for Creme to get on top of Kepler, I feel like TT should just solidly be favorites to win out in fights. We hit on earlier that OMG don't really have a front line, so you're pushing into them. All of their damage is sticking and connecting onto targets. They have engaged. They have ways to buy space. Their comp was just a lot more versatile coming into this one. And with Dragon coming up in 40 seconds and OMG having no vision on Drake, it feels like OMG just don't really have a way of walking in and contesting this. You're probably just happy to sit in your base and catch waves, hope to fight, you know, in a few minutes from now.
True. Means we're going to have a third Dragon, and then waiting for the Ocean Soul where OMG throw everything against the wall. Baron's coming up in 2 minutes 32, so it's not like OMG can make a trade and try and build the bridge. For now, I mean, TT are still looking for picks themselves. Hoya hovering to the side as Lyric. Aki's going really deep. This might be an SOFM move. Looking for camps in the meantime, and yes, it absolutely is.
To be fair, I would not say it's the same thing. Like, he's not looking to go contest Dragon, right? He knows if he does, it would just be a mission to his own doom. So
Right.
go on the opposite side of the map, steal something away. Maybe he's waiting to see if someone walks in and he can like find a pick on a member. But now for TT, they're just going to be able to force their way, playing out their 2 lanes in mid and bot, and try and put more pressure onto the side of OMG.
And let's hang on, be real. SOFM would take it when the base is burning. You know, he'd take chickens while the Nexus turrets are being sieged. So you're right, you know, maybe not as much so, and Aki's still waiting. Who are you waiting for? Waiting for the Baron? Are you going to sit here for a minute 30? Will he do it? Or is he still just waiting for top? Okay, I believe Creme's coming.
We get to find out. If he did wait here to Baron, I would have the most amount of respect for Aki ever with the level of patience.
Maybe he needs to go to the bathroom, Lyric.
He feels it.
He just
senses
sits there.
it.
Hoya
He knows.
senses it. Oh, Hoya senses it. Wait, Hoya, the lens! Oh, the lens. Hoya knew something was sus.
I wonder what gave it away. You know, like, I don't think he walked over any vision. There was some wards in the top side of the jungle, but I thought Aki had moved before those have been placed down. But point is, we don't get to see, we don't get to find out the level of his patience. I think he was going to do it. I think he was going to wait the whole time.
I think so too.
And it was going to be insane. The biggest brain steal of the century. But now we have to come back to reality with the fight possibly about to come to fruition. Luckily for OMG, they've at least gotten their summoner spells back up because those weren't up the last time that TT were posturing in front of them. We do have pretty big item advantages, almost full items up across the board for the members of TT.
Okay, well, this is going to be a fun one then because the damage is just going to be huge. Kepler sits at arm's range near Yao. And for Abel, as he gets stunned down, every moment is a little bit scary. OMG clearing out this wave, but you can see TT want to end it
beautiful.
Here. Yao in perfectly. Death Rocket too, but as he gets low, Creme now wants to jump on in. Kepler will get himself down with a heal, but the exhaust as well stops Creme. As rooted down is Ucal, Beichuan off the wing. This ain't clean as Kepler goes golden, and Hoya needs a beautiful Mega Gnar, but this one is Yao once again. Hoya hasn't got the ulti, but Kepler remains untouched. He kites it back, and is ready to run down Abel. TT make it look scrappy, but at the very least, finally, the Thunder talks.
TT, they find the fight. Kepler left untouched. He was just kiting it out as members around him were being focused. Yao Yao and Beichuan. Creme was able to get into the fight, but he was taken so low so early on, he actually had to back out. And now, with Kepler being so high HP and having these two members who can take the Baron, TT are going to try and go for this one.
OMG going to try and contest. It's only Jerry, it's only Creme, Aki in 5, and even over a ward, look at the damage that goes down. Kepler just sitting over the wall with traps too. Creme trying, but Hoya with a 2-man ulti. They've walked into their trap. Take your way of perfect execution, and Jerry's up next. Ucal 4-2 and 7 as he gets back over with the ult too. And TT are doing it, ladies and gentlemen. They are looking to take down OMG and put themselves in a fine position in this.
Nice job by Yao Yao to lock down two members, but Flash comes out from Shanji. Aki able to go golden, and Cannon Barrage buys a lot of space. Creme tries to use this opportunity to go in, but with the exhaust down, not really able to follow up on that promise to go through. And now OMG kind of scattering, throwing different abilities at different members. And Creme finds his kill, but he got taken so low. And keep your eyes on Kepler on this side of the fight because no one's focusing him. When Aki went in, he took down Yao Yao. And then with Hoya able to achieve Mega Gnar, it allows Kepler to run forward confidently while he has gotten excited.
10k gold lead. This is it. I mean, TT right now, Lyric, I said before the replay, they're in a fine position because I feel like this team realistically can make 7 with an upset on the way. That could be playoffs for the first time as their label is Thunder Talk Gaming. TT right now channeling into the bottom side. 4 items for Ucal as well, by the way. Zhonya's, Banshees, a lot of safety tools. And even this Jinx, now with a GA. How do you get the picks you want as OMG?
No, and these tools really stymie what they want to do, right? When they're all about burst, when they're all about assassination potential able to come through, if you're going to use these tools on one of these members, they're going to buy the time, they're going to outlast the damage, come back with the GA, and TT will still be running at full steam with the amount of DPS they have with their composition.
Kepler so more willing to step up now as into the next turret. The Baron minions doing work, and you look at this, there's not enough range to really clear those two cannons. A shuriken flip on Beichuan is good. Creme finally able to step up, but another inhibitor drops down, and TT now moments away. They were very safe in game number 1, however, even with the Baron, and once again, TT won't overstep. There's an Ocean Soul up, or maybe they want OMG to think that they're leaving. Okay.
Oh, they do, but they're
not.
they were a little impatient. You could see them trying to pull a member out, thinking they have the ability to go in with that Shirelia's, but not able to close the distance. Still, though, they really lost nothing for posturing for that play, right? They're still going to be the team who's able to pick up Soul. And, right, with every play, it's only become harder and harder for OMG to be able to pull it out. It feels like a lot of their damage is negated at this point. You're relying on Abel, you're relying on Shanji to hit big barrels, but even then, Hoya, incredibly tanky. Just the whole squad of TT actually has a decent amount of resistances built in, like the top side of the map. Then you have Kepler with the GA, and you have Yao Yao, who has an extreme amount of mobility. So I feel like finding a member to where this burst is going to be able to stick, finding a way to connect barrels that are meaningful onto the members of TT is going to be pretty much an impossible task. So now we see if TT can close this out one comfortably. They're going to go back to playing out through 2 lanes like they have been doing, push in mid and kind of keep hovering between mid and top, keeping the pressure on to what should be a pretty nice engage opportunity to come out at some point from TT to hopefully, again, TT making their way up in the standings.
It would be huge after OMG just beat FPX. I mean, TT now look to beat down OMG. Move to 4 and 5 as Mega Gnar comes through. And that's one of the engages I'll be looking for as Ucal has stolen away the Cannon Barrage under turret. OMG are walking to their dooms as Cannon Barrage comes first, and Hoya zone 3 people away. TT now have exposed the base with the 1-man ulti onto Shanji. It could just be enough as Abel's ult's great, but Aki getting through with the kick on Kepler means nothing, especially with Ocean Soul as Creme on Akali just ain't the same vibe this time around. OMG have been outplayed here in this series as Thunder Talk Gaming look for the final kills. Abel steps up to the Nexus turret, but Beichuan turning into the Lee Sin wants him to die for now. TT need to wait for the wave, Lyric, and here it finally comes.
TT are going to look for this. No real tools on OMG to stop them, but at least they're near their base and get full health bars.
Creme doesn't want to make the move. He's going to flash away, and Kepler just autos him to death. Jerry's up next, and goodbye, Jerry. Able to. Thunder Talk have done it. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 and 5. Is this TT split? If so, it better begin now.
TT stepping up. Like we said, this is an organization that we really haven't had too much to write home about since they've been in the LPL, constantly sitting towards the bottom of those standings, and now finally getting a roster that is pulling it together, whether it's, bringing some players over from the LCK, bringing some players up from the LDL, keeping some players that have been around in the LPL for a while. Just, they took a lot of different approaches, finally ended up with like a puzzle or a painting where they're like, this looks pretty good, maybe a little bit abstract, add this here or there, can it work? And they find out working, on all cylinders. Like, you hit it perfectly. OMG were the team that ended FPX's win streak. Like, FPX were looking super solid. Yep. OMG ended that win streak, and then here we come, right off the gates. TT are like, hey, that doesn't matter. Now we're going to take you down a peg.
I mean, TT just came off a loss themselves, excuse me. So, off the back of that, I mean, losing to anyone's legend, another 3-game series. This win against OMG means so much for them. And before we kind of go into the chain effect this could have in the league, especially with JDG looking for playoffs today and TT, getting the win against OMG, I think looking at individuals in this series, Lyric, I think Beichuan yet again having a great performance. Yao as well. Like, the two people we kind of set up did feel the most impactful, with a sprinkling of Ucal having some great games on the Azir and Sylas.
I definitely think it was still like kind of mid jungle support of where like TT are really shining. Hoya as well, though, like had a much better series this time around than he did in their loss last week. But yeah, TT, the thing we kept highlighting, right, was their ability to bring it together. Their ability that once they found the lead of like how they're pulling OMG around the map in both game 1 and 3, really choking them out for vision and not really giving them any options to play the game. So that to me is where I'm most impressed with TT and what they have been able to do. This game, Kepler came in over Puff. He was left untouched in a lot of these fights. And when, again, these other members are creating so much space, he did a phenomenal job of really picking this up. But yeah, TT's a roster I'm very excited about. I think they have a strong core. I think there's no player you look at and you're like, okay, this guy isn't workable. This isn't a guy you can manage with on the roster. They've obviously now made it work with 2 different AD carries, and that probably being the position of concern coming through. But they were able to win with Puff. They're able to win with Kepler. Who knows? Maybe they can win with you.
Who knows what? Oh, thank you. Maybe the change.
I don't want to compare Kepler and Puff to you. That was not how that was supposed to go.
No. I'm so honored that you think I could AD, that well. But I gotta get into plat first. Got to get there, and then maybe we talk. Maybe I'll start in LDL. At the very least, for TT, getting excited about their schedule. So let's be realistic. I want to go on in this conversation because we are just kind of rolling through stats. Yeah, Kepler's going to have the most damage. It was Jinx, guys. Let's be real. I feel like the biggest takeaway for me is that Yao, close to 100% kill participation, but once again, on engage. Like, this guy is a bit hidden OP, Lyric, before we start talking about standings.
Yeah, just overall, Yao. I'll even give the shout out to Kepler for coming in as well and being able to step